SAFSTOR Matters!
Hi, I'm Marty Cohn, and welcome to episode 10 of SAFSTOR Matters, a program that features activities at the Entergy Vermont Yankee facility. To review, in August of 2013, Entergy announced that it would close Vermont Yankee at the end of 2014. This occurred on December 29, 2014. By mid-January 2015, all the nuclear fuel was removed from the reactor and placed in the spent fuel pool. VY certified to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission that the reactor had permanently ceased operation and was permanently defueled. A lot of work has been done to transition the plant and organization to support long-term storage prior to full physical decommissioning at Vermont Yankee. In episode 1, we had an overview about the decommissioning process. In episode 2, we talked about the emergency response organization. Dry fuel storage was, and the whole concept of spent fuel management was discussed in episode 3. In episode 4, the economic impact of VY closing and what's going to happen over the next few, was done in 4. What's going to happen over the next few months happened in episode 5. We learned about the main Yankee experience, one that was considered the gold standard, of course, before Vermont Yankee, in episode 6. The impact of VY closing on a host community was discussed on episode 7. Episode 8 featured Entergy Vermont Yankee Site Vice President Chris Wamser giving his perspective. The site's accomplishment in 2015 was reviewed in episode 9, and today, Pierre Oneid, Senior Vice President and Chief Nuclear Officer for Holtek International, will talk to us about dry spent fuel storage. I'll get that right by the end of the show. Welcome to the show, Pierre.
Well, thank you, Marty.
Thanks for coming all this way. And thanks for taking the time to tell us about spent fuel management and what Holtek is going to do in that. Now, we're familiar with Holtek at Vermont Yankee because it's supplied the 13 dry casks that we currently have. But tell us a little bit about Holtek International.
Happy to, Marty. And again, thank you for being on the show. Holtek International is a diversified energy technology company. 70% of our revenues are derived from the commercial nuclear sector, and 30% is derived from the fossil power plant sector. We are proudly U.S.-based, founded in 1986 by Dr. Singh, specializing in wet and dry spent fuel storage systems. More than 95% of the U.S. market for spent fuel pool racks, more than 50% of the U.S. market for dry spent fuel storage systems, like the one you have at Vermont Yankee. A vertically integrated company. What that means that we have in-house design, engineering, licensing, procurement, manufacturing, construction, cask loading services, installation.
So how would you describe Holtek's experience in dry spent fuel storage?
Holtek has designed and licensed many dry spent fuel storage systems with the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission and in other countries. The High Storm 100 system in use at the Vermont Yankee nuclear plant is the most widely used system today. In fact, it is the most widely used canister-based system in the world. By canister-based system, we mean that the internal canister contains the used nuclear fuel and the overpack provides radiation shielding to workers and the environment, as well as physical protection of the used nuclear fuel itself.
So we know about your work here at Vermont Yankee. Do other facilities use the Holtek system?
Oh yes, 101 nuclear plants worldwide rely on Holtek's dry storage technology for their storage and transport needs. 59 domestic and 42 international. Holtek has designed the independent spent fuel storage installation pad, we call SFSI, for 14 nuclear plants in the U.S. Holtek has also performed construction of the SFSI pad for 10 nuclear plants in the U.S. There are over 840 Holtek dry storage systems loaded today and in use around the globe. Holtek has performed loading also for approximately 300 of the 840 systems that are in use. 102 will be loaded by our crew in 2016 this year, and 99 next year.
Wow, that's a lot. So we're going to take a little bit of a different slant right now. Now, you brought this incredible video, and I'm going to let you set it up. Tell us what we're about to see.
For Holtek, we are highly technically based in terms of our testing, which includes the testing of our systems, if you will, from a drop test to submergence test to fire test. But this particular video, Marty, is very exciting because what it shows a missile striking a mock-up of a Holtek designed spent fuel transportation cask at a velocity exceeding 600 miles per hour. The missile disintegrates. However, the transportation cask and its contained contents remains intact.
Okay, let's see this test in action. This is incredible, and this was done with the Army looking on and the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Okay. Whoa, that is incredible. Are we going to see that in slow motion?
Oh yes, oh yes. As a matter of fact, the rockets were supplied by the U.S. Army.
Wow, and that's hitting the cask directly on. Holy mackerel. And
and you can see now how the system and the canister remains intact after it got hit by the missile like you just saw.
Wow. So this isn't just a computer rendering, this is an actual test that Holtek did.
Absolutely, Marty. This is the catch bin that you are looking at right now, and you could see the cask intact, and not only intact, there was no leakage at all, and what we simulated theoretically, it passed 100%.
Wow, that's incredible. So all right. So in this episode of SAFSTOR Matters, we're talking with Pierre Oneid, who Senior Vice President and Chief Nuclear Officer for Holtek. That was an incredible video showing the safety and the thinking that goes into this design. Incredibly safe. But safety has to always be a concern. That's a concern at Vermont Yankee. I believe it's a concern that you share as well. What safety features are designed into that dry spent fuel storage system?
Marty, that is a great question because that is at the core of our work at Holtek International. I like the figure that you're watching on the screen because this figure is it provides you the essence of what we call passive cooling. And passive cooling literally means that there are no mechanical equipment, there are no fans, no pumps, no electricity that is causing the cooling of the multi-purpose canister inside this shielded storage module. What you can see here is the chimney effect. Inside the canister, there's helium that is circulating, that's driven by the heat generated from the spent fuel. And because it goes basically circulates through a thermosiphon process on the inside, it drives, like you can see, the air from the bottom vents, and it basically hugs and cools the outside surface of the multi-purpose canister, and it exits at the top. Folks, it's that simple. This is a passive design, and this is the workhorse, if you will, of our 840 and multiple MPCs to be installed. The other thing that we have worth noting, Marty, is massive amount of shielding material which lowers the radiation emitted from the system. You have in the storage module surrounding this multi-purpose canister 27 inches of concrete and 2 inches of steel. Metal exterior of the high storm system protects the concrete. This is extremely important in an environment such as Vermont, where exposed concrete is susceptible to freeze-thaw cycles. Protecting the concrete eliminates cracks, which are streaming pathways for radiation.
So I'm sure you understand that at Vermont Yankee, one of the things that we're talking about is that Holtek is really going to provide a full service, something that we call pool to pad. What can you tell us about the folks that are going to be doing that work at Vermont Yankee?
Marty, nuclear safety and radiological safety and personal safety is Holtek's #1 priority for our personnel performing work in the field and for the public. Also, personal safety is very important to us at our factories and also at our offices. Cask loading crews are highly trained specialists. We have in site services, total number of casks loaded to date is approximately 300. We've had only one recordable injury, only one in year 2008. We've had zero lost time injuries since 1999. Construction crews are highly trained in safety. Holtek's commitment to safety of personnel in our factories starts at the highest levels of management and penetrates through the company in all of our projects.
So that's great. So what we have is a highly trained personnel that are going to be here at Vermont Yankee. What can you tell us about nuclear safety? What can the folks in Vernon and in the surrounding community, what can we expect now that Holtek will be on the scene?
Safety conscious work environment is a program has been adopted by our nuclear industry. And Holtek has absolutely embraced that program. At the core of that, Marty, at the core of that is the focus on safety, teamwork, but also especially and notably is open communication and being able to have concerns being brought up out in the open and address them. There is no question that will be unanswered, and we welcome that from the general public, from our employees, and from anyone in the world.
So let me ask you this. One of the things that's occurred here is we have made a commitment that all the fuel will be on the pad by 2020. How is Holtek going to help us ensure that happens? When are you going to be starting?
We have already started, Marty.
Oh.
We have already started. As a matter of fact, we are very proud of working with a team of Entergy to put the project in place. We've already kicked off the project, as I mentioned. Manufacturing is underway. The construction piece of the project is already underway in terms of selecting a vendor for construction. The design is already complete, and we believe we have a very high, strong confidence that we will meet the 2020 in terms of having the entire fuel on the pad.
And what that means for us, and this is very exciting, is so we already have pad 1 where there were 13 pads. We're going to be adding about 25 more to that pad, but you're also going to be building the second pad, and then you're going to be, once that's done, you'll be finishing up and loading the second pad as well. That's the pool to pad scenario.
Yes. And it's just noteworthy, if you will, as I mentioned during the show, that we have built 10 of those. Believe it or not, 4 of them we have just built in the last 16 months alone. So we're very proud of our crews and our teams, and we're looking forward to a successful project here at VY.
Now let's take just a quick moment to in terms of in the history of Holtek. Holtek is licensed by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. This is you know, this is a company that has a solid track record of success. Tell us a little bit about the pathway through being tested by the NRC.
Well, I must give plenty of kudos, if you will, to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. I believe the entire globe, they call it the gold standards, frankly, as what our Nuclear Regulatory Commission in their processes, in their procedures, and in their policies. So to pass the scrutiny of the NRC, again, is a source of pride for Holtek International. We have over 10 certificate of compliances, numerous amendments that have been gone through the NRC and certified by the NRC. In terms of the testing, like you saw on our missile testing, and in terms of the, like I mentioned earlier, submersions, fire, and also submergence in terms of flooding or water, underwater, and also drop tests. This is all the products that all the stringent requirements to pass the NRC requirements. And Holtek has an extremely robust system that exceeds those requirements.
So is it fair to say, and this is something that we actually talked about almost a year ago, a concern that some folks may have is when we're transporting the fuel before it gets on the dry cask, people are saying, well, you know, what happens if it falls? What happens, you know, or is there any danger? What's the safety of when it's going from, you know, as it's being transported to the pad itself?
Well, that is all considered under normal conditions, what we call it, and also under accident conditions. And in both scenarios, it's an extremely safe and robust system that addresses just about any concern that anyone can throw at our systems. And you're going to be working very closely with the team here at Vermont Yankee. And you were talking about that communication, so there'll be project managers, there'll be discussions as this is going on. And that's part of the service and the way that you get to that nuclear safety is through communication. Absolutely, absolutely. And if I may, Marty, would like to address our audience in terms of, from an industry perspective, not just Holtek International. Our industry has over 100,000 assemblies have been loaded. In 35 states in the United States, basically there has been over 3,000 casks that have been loaded. For over 35 years, we have not had a single significant issue with loading spent fuel in dry storage. And I think that is a very important fact for our audience to understand.
Right. So when the fuel gets on the pad, we know that the top security will be in place. And that's always been a concern, not only at Vermont Yankee, but it sounds like also at Holtek International. Thank you, Pierre, for being on the show, and I hope as time goes on, maybe we'll have you back.
Well,
and you can tell us about all the progress that we're making.
Thank you, Marty.
Episode 10 is a wrap. Special thanks to Dennis Cordell for writing the original music that you're about to hear for the show. When you heard it on the intro, and you're going to be hearing it in a few seconds, you're probably going to be humming it the rest of the day. And Pierre, it's going to be like an earworm going in your head there. Karen Wilson, for all her behind-the-scenes magic that happens. And I just want to do a big shout out to the folks here at BCTV, not only who help us with the production of this show, and this show had a lot of things going on, and I think I'm pretty excited, can't wait to see it, but also for recognizing us with this 2015 Best Series of the Year award. We are very proud of this award, and we're very appreciative to the folks at BCTV for recognizing us with it. For all of us at Vermont Yankee, I'm Marty Cohn. Thanks for watching.